So we just
Hey,
we just gonna do it on the computer.
yeah, this is StreamYard. All right, so we're already live.
Okay, so I don't have to go to my phone.
No. Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? So, this is Boomy here, and we are going to have a great conversation tonight. So, last night you should have been on the TTO Wealth Builders training with us. Oh my God, Cedric Harris was just dropping the knowledge. The knowledge. We had a training, and the title was 7 Reasons Why We Need to Get Our Money Up Now. 7 reasons why we need to get our money up now. So this is important information. I'm not going to go over all 7 reasons, but if there's a way you can get the recording, you need to get it, because there are some things that are happening and about to happen in the financial landscape of not just the US, but of the world. And we need to get prepared. And one of the best ways to get prepared for financial crisis is, well, find a way not to participate and be on the side of cash flow so you can take advantage of opportunities. But I want to bring my father into this conversation because he has what is inspiration for me and a story that you all need to hear, because he was talking about when in the 1979.
Yeah, but the 70s in particular, but the latter part,
It was how much was the, what you say, the prime rate?
the prime rate, that's the lowest rate that you could get. The prime rate got up to 19%.
19%. And
And
you
only
think
the
it's,
people with the best of credit can get the prime rate.
wow. So for me, it's like if prime right now is like 5, and people are like, oh my God, prime is 5. Well, there was a time during our lifetime, I mean, I was still living in 79 when prime was 19%. So have no fear, we made it through that. But what are some of the things that went on in the 70s that kind of models or mocks what is about to happen now with this recession?
Most things in life, it's all about attitude. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the 70s, if you look back at the history of the 70s, it was a very, very difficult decade. You know, it was. I mean, it started out with the war in Vietnam was going on at its peak. It was really crazy. There's a lot of, unrest in the streets, and then you got on to the early part of the 70s, like 73, had the oil crisis. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the first time we ever had cars, 100 cars deep in line to get gasoline.
Wow.
People were willing to pay any price. They just wanted gasoline
Mm-hmm.
in their car. So we had that. And then at that time, or a few years after that, we had the financial crisis in terms of mortgage. Uh, in the state of Maryland, in particular, the banks wasn't giving loans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just wasn't giving loans. So people couldn't refinance, just wouldn't give a loan. So all that happened early to mid 70s. Now, later 70s, 75, 76, all into 79, inflation literally went through the roof. But not only that, inflation hit, but at the same time, a recession hit.
Is that what's happening now? Same thing?
Not we're heading that direction.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to hear the term stagflation, you know you're there.
What does that mean?
Stagflation is a combination of inflation and what's stag mean to slow. You stag,
Stagnation.
stagging is the recession.
Okay, so the economy's not moving, it's not growing, it's staying the same, but your prices are going up.
Absolutely,
Okay.
that's stagflation,
Mhm.
and that hit really hard during the last couple of years uh, of the 70s. And I was actually selling real estate then,
Mhm.
and people were, when they could get a loan, they were paying 14% interest on a residential loan.
Mhm.
14%. Can you imagine that? So some people made it through. Some people did a lot of creative financing, but it was a difficult year for the country when you look at the history.
Year, or you mean decade?
Well, yeah, decade.
Mhm.
the decade. But it wasn't like that for everybody. And
Mhm.
so we need to understand it's never like that for
Everybody,
everybody. You
right.
know, I mean, people lost money, people lost home, but other people made money. You
Mhm.
know, and it wasn't that difficult. And I think I was like one of those people. I mean, I lived through the '70s, and personally, it was the best decade of my life.
No, no, pause right there because that's exciting. I've heard my father say that before. Like while all this mayhem was going on, he's like, man, I prospered in the 70s. And that's the point I want you to own. Whatever they're saying on the news, whatever's going to happen with the economy, you can still prosper. I think if you govern yourself a certain way,
Absolutely, you
right?
govern yourself. You know, so much depends on having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a plan, then you execute that plan. Because you got a goal, then you can have a goal all you want, but if you don't have a plan to execute on that goal, it won't happen. And I was quite goal oriented in the '70s. I was buying real estate, selling real estate. I was out there in the marketplace, and I was just looking for opportunity.
But but this is an interesting thing. Some people would say, "Oh, I can't be in real estate if the interest rates are high,
Not
or
true.
if so." You were prospering in real estate with what most people would seem to be the odds being against you.
Yeah, I mean, 14%. Who would want to be in real estate except me? You know, but a lot of people started to understand that when there's a problem, there's a solution. And
Mm.
see, people need to understand that instead of buying into the problem. And back then, I mean, I didn't see it as a problem. To be honest, I mostly didn't see it.
Right. Okay. I was gonna say, were you just kind of like, and I think there's some benefit to that. Like when you don't know what's really going on, and you
Mhm.
think it's business as usual, you can, hey, I'm making something happen. I'm
Yeah.
just doing what I do.
I mean, you just keep on doing. You keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, and it happens. You know, I mean, we can buy into it. A lot of times when people don't even understand what's happening, they just doing what they set out to do. They're doing their goal, and they fulfill their
Right.
goal.
And nobody said, "Oh, you can't do this because interest rates are at this rate." So you was just doing it,
know,
right?
yeah. Well, you know, people said, "Well, you can't do it,"
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and those who's bought into that, they couldn't do it. I
Mm.
mean, they really they couldn't and they didn't do it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that mindset is so powerful. So if you decide that okay, the economy is bad. I mean, the United States got a huge economy,
Mm-hmm.
and we say like okay, we just simply choose not to participate in that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can do that.
It's not going to be bad for 100% of the people.
Absolutely
So decided to be one of those who was not going to be bad for.
No, I
right?
mean, you can really determine your economy to a great degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we got the big economy, you got the global economy. I mean, you don't need all of that. You just need a little piece of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a tiny piece of that because the globe is big. I just heard today that today we hit 8 billion people on the planet.
Wow.
You know, 8 billion people on the planet. So that's big. But you know, yesterday it wasn't 8 billion. It didn't affect me. Today's 8 billion.
It don't affect you
It don't
still.
affect me. You know, that's my determination.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, awesome. So here we are in 2022. And Cedric was saying, look, we need to get our money up for all these reasons. Inflation is at an all-time high. You've seen the gas prices, you've seen the grocery store prices, but Jim Rohn said, well, it's not that things are too expensive, it's just that you can't afford it. If you get your money up, then you can afford it. Not that you necessarily want to pay more, but like one of my friends, Dan, was like, if milk is $6 a gallon, I don't care. I'm gonna pay it. It's not gonna stop. I'm not gonna not buy it because it's $6 a gallon or 8 or whatever. If you got the money, then you're gonna pay it.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people who are in that position. And if you're not, there's so much opportunity out here. You can get in position. So then he was talking about how mortgage rates are pushing 8%. My father told you how in our lifetime they've been higher than that, but it just means housing is getting more, it's getting less affordable. But again, money answer of all things. If you got the money, you can afford it. And if you, there's always going to be ways to do some creative things, right?
Absolutely. You can make money happen.
Yeah.
You
Ooh.
know, you can literally think it into being.
Okay. Some of that went over your head. Some of you also, oh, yes, that's right. I believe that. I caught it. And then what about the, he talked about the massive printing of money that the government will most likely do.
Well, before we go there,
Mhm.
I want to emphasize one point. I want this to be a takeaway point. See, today in this economy, it's such a wonderful time right now. You know, to accumulate certain assets because they're on sale, they're cheap. See? And that's a cycle. I mean, you can't pinpoint exactly when, but over a year or 2 or 3 or 4, you know, because a year, 2 or 3 or 4 keep coming. You know, it keep coming, and the same kind of stuff keep happening. You know, it goes up and it goes down. It's down now, and this is what Cedric was saying. Now that it's down, this is the time to create money. This is time to get your money right. See, if you get your money right now, and you just start to keep adding and buying these assets while they're really cheap. See, I mean, you got to have a little bit of foresight because they are really cheap. You know, crypto is really, really cheap today. You know, I mean, 17,000, 18,000 for Bitcoin. I mean, that's like nothing. Okay, the cycle. We in that down cycle now, and people say, "Oh, I mean, you know, it's going to zero. I mean, what's going to happen? You know, the market's going. You know, I mean, it's not going to zero, but I wouldn't mind it going lower.
Right.
You know, see, because now, you know, the sky's falling and all of that. But fast forward 3 years. I mean, which is not long. 36 months. I mean, that's not long at all. You know, this market will easily 5x or 10x. So if you're looking at, let's just take, you know, Bitcoin, everybody understand Bitcoin. Let's say it's 20 and at 5x. So you're buying it now. And 3 years from now, it's 5x. 5 times 20, I think it's something like 100,000. You know, 100,000, you might be able to do something with that. But understand, you got it at 20. If people could only get that, and I don't understand why they don't get that because it keeps happening over and over again. It's not like it happened one time, it didn't happen before. It has happened 4 times, 3 times already. And it's likely to happen, you know, 3 more times. You know, you don't know for sure, and you don't know when, but it just keeps happening. That seems to be, to me, that's a clue.
Right.
I mean, that's a clue. So take that clue and what Cedric was saying, get your money right. Now it's time to hustle. And, you know, I know inflation is high, but I also know that there's always ways to reduce expense. It is, because the economy is big. I mean, prices is high here, but believe me, they're not high everywhere. You can get some good deal if you decide that, hey, I'm gonna put the time and effort in. You know, I know that how, for example, I just heard on the news that right now today, a family is spending $463 more than they had to spend a year ago.
For the same goods and services.
Same exact goods and services. Okay, I mean that's amount. But what I'm saying is that, you know, you may not be able to cut all of that back, but you can cut some of it back. And one habit that I think we need to ascertain is to, you know, get in a habit of saving money. I know that's difficult because the whole world is in a spin downward. I mean, the government's spending, the states are spending, you know, the cities are spending. I mean, So families do the same thing. They're spending, they're over leveraged. It's debt. We're in a whole debt economy. So, you know, why don't you be a contrarian and go the other direction? You don't have to go with the herd. Uh, I'm absolutely contrarian. Whichever way the herd is going, I'm going the opposite way. See, right now, the herd is saying don't buy assets, don't buy because everything is doesn't low, doesn't look good. So the adage on the street is that when in the market says, well, when there's blood in the street, stuff is bad. That's time to buy. You know, 3 years from now, when you have all the hype and CNN, everybody was saying everything is up and up and up. That's time to sell.
Yeah, but people just get it so backwards. And that's one thing we've been saying for a long time. Like, guys, crypto going down, any asset going down, if you've got cash flow, that's the time to pick it up. You always want to buy low and sell higher. But so many people are backwards. And when it's low, they're just like, they're not buying. And then when the hype of it increasing comes, then they're like, ooh, I want to get it. The one now is going up. But you should have bought low. I mean, so many people that we know have said the time to get wealthy, to create millions and billions, is when things are in the down market. It's in the bear market where millionaires and billionaires are made.
Boom, that's so true. And I don't get it why they don't get it.
Right.
Because it's not rocket science. It's simple math. It's history. It's all the basic stuff. I mean, if you want to get rich, now's the time to get rich. See, because you're buying an asset now, and then you don't have to do nothing else but just wait to get rich. Because the riches are coming. Because the market's going to go up, and when the hype starts, it's going to drive the market up more and more, and the market is going to grow in
nothing you can do to stop it.
It's going to grow because of growth is inevitable.
Well, that's what we're talking about. If you buy good quality like crypto, we're talking about like crypto backed by commodities. If right now you're in the accumulation stage, you're accumulating that G when it's not even a penny. You're accumulating aluminum when it's 2 cents, right? When things are low, you accumulate as much as you can so that you have millions of tokens. So when things go up, man, you 10x and 100x in your money.
But when people do this all the time, you wonder why people get rich. They get rich because they got a little foresight and they make simple, wise investments when the market is low, when the market is down. I know we're repeating that, but we want people to get that because that's a key. You can't get rich overnight, but you can get rich. It might take a minute. My minute is 36 months.
And that goes so fast these days.
I mean, 36 months.
It goes by so fast.
I've been back from Colombia almost 3 years.
Colombia, South America, he's talking about. Well, look, before we end, last night you were just sharing some of the fun things you did in the 70s when all of that inflation and stagflation was going on. So just let's end with that. What are some of the things that you did? Because you like, I'm not paying attention to.
I mean, the 70s, our 70s was an exciting time. We had just came out of the wild 60s, which was, just crazy, I mean, with the war in Vietnam, the civil rights movement, the movement for liberation and all of that, so it rolled into the early 70s, and then the early 70s, I had Boomy in the early 70s.
Hey.
We went to Africa on our honeymoon for 6 weeks. We traveled West Africa, Ghana, Togo, Dahomey, Nigeria, for 6 weeks. After that, I went into the real estate business.
What property?
bought property. Uh, actually, back then I didn't have a lot of money. I bought property literally with no money. See, I'll tell you why I bought it with no money, because I didn't have any. I mean, I was a real estate agent. Me and my broker went to a seminar. You know, literally, the name of it was "How to Buy Property with No Money Down." And we went to the seminar. Cost $200-300. Broker and I, big broker in Columbia, Charles A. Skirvin, and he said, "Who would do that?" And that was his answer to that. Now, he was a big broker, and he owned lots of property in Baltimore.
What do you mean, who would do that? Who would sell it for no money down?
Who could you get to
do that?
That you could buy property from somebody with no money down? Well, literally, this is true story. Literally 3 weeks later, I bought a 4-unit apartment on York Road and 41st Street with no money.
Wow! From what you learned at the seminar?
What I learned at the seminar.
Wow!
And there's kind of like a missing link. These seminars, it's a 3-week window. If you don't kind of do what they tell you to do in 3 weeks, you kind of like, lose the belief level. But no, that's true. So we go on. We went through the gas crisis, and then come 76, and the gold prices was what literally on the move back there was only $300 some. And then after the election of 76, after Nixon and Ford and Carter came in, and really inflation really went up. But at the same time, we had inflation, and then we had a recession. That's the worst of both worlds. You got slow growth, and you got hot prices going up. They call it stagflation because stuff was stagnated, but yet the prices was going up, and it was really, really bad. So those years.
But you also built a house during that time. So you bought property and built a house.
Yeah, in 75, I bought the land during the 70s, and in 72, when Jerry graduated from college, that was her graduation present.
Nice.
Buying it on time, 6% interest from the land developer. 3 years later, my father loaned me $10,000 to pay the land off, so I could get a construction loan. So I didn't have to put any money on the property. I paid them back in 3 years. And really, while all this was going on, I didn't know, or I didn't participate in whatever, and I just kept on because
you didn't know about all the negatives that were going on in the larger part of the
I didn't know the
magnitude?
The micro negative, the big negative,
the macro.
The macro, the big picture. But I understood because everybody's talking about how stuff was so bad. 14% interest rate, I guess that is bad, but it didn't affect me because I got a 7% loan. The builders called me and said, "Look, if you come in and sign, we'll give you a 70% loan. You got the land, so you don't have to put no money down on your house." All this thing was happening.
Everything just fell into place for you.
In the 70s, So I got it, like I said, in the real estate toward the end, or mid to the end of the 70s, and buying property. There was an opportunity. People wanted to sell. We bought 3 properties in Annapolis, townhouses.
Who's we?
Me and your mother, Jerry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, 2 of them one was VA had a loan, FHA, the convention. Uh, we sold the paper to a person that we knew for $20,000 for the two of them. They assumed the mortgage. We never, we
Took
never took
possession.
possession. We just sold that.
So you sold the contract.
Sold the paper contract, right?
Mm.
Sold the contract. I mean, so there's deals out there, but you got to kind of like get in the mix. You can't stay home and let that think it's gonna come to you.
Mm.
But nowadays, you got the internet and all that to help you. But we had the newspaper. Found the deal in the Baltimore Sun. But but see, the point that we're making here, that was the decade of the 70s. You check history with history says it was a pretty bad time. The point is that it doesn't have to be a bad time for everybody, and it doesn't have to be a bad time for you if you simply make that decision. So you make that decision, you have a goal, and then you have to have a plan to execute the goal. And you're gonna run into some roadblocks and what have you, but you work your way around there because you know where you want to go, and you just keep moving forward. So I mean, that came and it went.
Well, I think this has been a very valuable, inspirational conversation. I wanted to do this because there's so many people out there who just let the media control them. They let what the news say predict their attitude and their outcomes. And I want you to understand that you can take personal responsibility for your life, for what shows up, for your destiny. And while we are going into this downturn in the economy, you still can get your money up, even if the numbers that the TV is purporting are negative, right? You can still live a positive life. So it's been some good stuff. Thank you so much, my father. So that's Bitcoin Zeke. You see your shirt? Show me your shirt, Dan. You got to embroider Bitcoin Zeke. This is Boomy Moore. If you need to reach out to us, 980-888-2000. Do me a favor. Leave a comment, please, on this video. Like, love. Reach out, 980-888-2000, 980-888-2000 if you want to find out any more about the cryptos backed by real world commodities or anything else. Hit us up, 980-888-2000. See you later. Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome.